Business conditions in Saudi and the UAE improved in July, and UAE hotels saw nearly 6 million visitors in Q1. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Business conditions in Saudi and the UAE improved in July as price pressures edged slightly lower and employment expanded. S&P Global's Purchasing Managers Index shows the UAE was at 55.4, up from 54.8 in June, and well above the 50 mark, separating growth from contraction. The Saudi PMI stood at 56.3 in July, down from 57 in June. S&P says the biggest challenge facing UAE non-oil businesses is inflation. The rate of increase in input costs was the second highest in 4.5 years amid global shortages of inputs and greater prices for fuel, materials, and shipping. UAE hotels attracted nearly 6 million visitors who spent 25 million hotel nights in Q1, an increase of 10% compared with the same period of 2019. Government data reveals the duration of their stays in hotels grew by 25% during the same period, while the hotel occupancy rate was 80%. Hotels saw earnings totaling $3 billion in Q1, an increase of 20% compared to the same period of 2019. These hotels resumed activities at full capacity with nearly 200,000 hotel rooms. Dubai-based buy now, pay later startup Tabby has secured debt financing worth $150 million in what it says is the largest credit facility for a fintech in the GCC. The funds are from U.S.-based investors Italia Capital Management and existing investor Partners for Growth. The new funding takes Tabby's total capital raised to date to $275 million, following a Series B extension earlier this year. Tabby says it's now nearing profitability. In recent months, Tabby's BNPL facilities have become available for customers of international brands including H&M, Bath & Body Works, Nike, and Swarovski. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz says Russia is to blame for a delay in shipping a turbine for the key Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline from Canada following its maintenance. The turbine, which Gazprom blamed for reduced deliveries, is at the center of Europe's gas crisis. Scholz says the turbine is ready to be reinstalled and there are no hurdles on Germany's side. The Chancellor was speaking at a news conference standing alongside the CEO of Siemens Energy, which is the turbine's manufacturer. Scholz also says extending the life of Germany's 3 remaining nuclear power plants remains a potential option to help ease an energy crunch. Danish shipping giant Maersk doubled its profits in Q2 as freight prices soared due to persistent bottlenecks on trade routes. Q2 net profits reached $8.6 billion compared to $3.7 billion for the same period of 2021. Revenue rose to $21.7 billion in Q2, up from $14.2 billion a year earlier. Maersk, the world's largest container shipping line along with Italy's MSC, has posted robust profits since the second half of 2020. Nintendo's Q1 net profit jumped 28% year-on-year, mainly thanks to a weaker yen. Hardware and software sales declined, though, because of the chip shortage and COVID-19 supply issues. The gaming giant posted a net profit of $893 million for Q2, citing the positive impact of the depreciation of the yen. The yen lost over 10% on the dollar this year as U.S. inflation fuels a widening monetary policy gap. It benefits Japanese companies like Nintendo who sell products overseas. Let's take a look now at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking. It tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Our biggest winner today is Gautam Adani, up $3 billion with net wealth of $129.9 billion. Our second biggest winner today is Elon Musk, up $2.4 billion with net wealth of $273.6 billion. And our third place winner is Mukesh Ambani, up $1.1 billion with net wealth of $95.4 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest billionaires news. Major developed and emerging market central banks around the globe delivered nearly 1,200 basis points in interest rate hikes in July alone as they ramp up their fight against multi-decade high inflation. Central banks overseeing 5 of the 10 most heavily traded currencies delivered 325 basis points of rate hikes between them last month. This brings the total volume of rate hikes since the start of the year across G10 central banks to 1,100 basis points. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.